welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we've pulled together a really focused, high-yield stack of resources all centered on UK medical professionalism.
Yep, and we're going deep on one specific area.
Exactly. Equality, diversity, and inclusion, or EDI. We're looking at how these huge principles translate into, actual clinical decisions.
And crucially, how they translate into high scores in assessments like the MSRA SJT.
That's it. So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to boil all that regulatory guidance and legal duty down into a clear, actionable framework for you.
We're looking for the core truths, the things you absolutely have to know about treating patients fairly and really removing the barriers that stop them getting care.
Okay, let's jump straight in with a classic scenario, the kind that really creates tension both in a real clinic and definitely on the exam screen.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So imagine this. You are running a super busy pre-op clinic. A deaf patient arrives for a non-urgent consultation, but you realize straight away the BSL interpreter you asked for was never booked.
Right, and the pressure is on.
Immense pressure. The receptionist is stressed, the clinic is backed up, and they suggest just use the patient's teenage child to interpret so we can keep things moving.
And that is the moment of maximum tension. You've got time pressure, the patient's right to care, and the absolute non-negotiable need for valid consent all competing.
Exactly. So for you listening,
Yeah.
what are your competing priorities here? And what is the absolute safest, highest scoring action? We're going to spend the next few minutes building the framework that gives you that correct answer every single time.
And if we distill everything in these resources down to, one single core truth, it's this: equity beats equality.
Say more about that.
The SJT rewards doctors who actively spot the barrier, make the reasonable adjustment to remove it, give safe access to care, and then document every single step.
That distinction, equity over equality, that's huge. And this isn't some niche topic, is it? It's flagged as a must-know high-frequency thing.
Oh, absolutely. The GMC in the exam put a massive priority on it.
Why is that?
Because it's literally fundamental to the GMC's Good Medical Practice from 2024. It says, flat out, that we have to treat patients and colleagues fairly and actively tackle discrimination.
So if you get this wrong, you're failing at a foundational level.
You are. And beyond that, there's the legal side.
The hard legal requirement, right?
Precisely. It underpins all NHS practice because we have a duty to address health inequalities under the Equality Act 2010. That act protects patients based on protected characteristics, age, disability, race, sex, and so on.
So the common traps in the exam are based on getting that wrong.
Yes, often it's about wrongly assuming a patient understands when there's a barrier or delaying an adjustment. Both are unsafe and they both score very poorly.
Okay, so let's unpack that core principle. Moving from just avoiding discrimination to actively adapting our care. What does that look like?
Well, it looks like adaptation. The core idea isn't treat everyone the same. That's equality. It's adapt the service to meet individual needs. That's equity.
And the safest doctor understands that things like reasonable adjustments, they're not a favor.
Not at all. They are a legal duty.
Back to my busy clinic. I can't just say, well, the interpreter's in here. I'll just use the family member to keep things moving.
No, that's exactly where the legal duty stops you. That duty mandates booking a qualified professional interpreter, for instance.
And avoiding family members.
Yes, actively avoiding them, especially children. Unless it's a genuine life or death emergency that you are documenting very, very carefully.
And the payoff is that you get genuine shared decision-making.
You do, because the information is actually understandable. And for the doctor, the risk avoidance comes from one thing.
Let me guess. Documentation.
Transparent recording. You document the need, the adjustments you made, and any escalation. That record is what protects you legally and professionally.
Excellent. Let's get into the high scoring structure then. The sources give a pretty straightforward 5-step framework for any EDI scenario.
It's practical, it's sequential, and it's all about mitigating risk.
So what's step 1? The absolute first thing you have to do.
Step 1. Spot barriers early. You have to be actively looking for them. And not just language, think sensory loss, neurodiversity, learning disabilities.
Right. And once you've spotted that barrier, what's the immediate action?
Step 2. Book the required adjustment. This isn't something you think about later. You act on the legal duty straight away. Get the interpreter, get the easy read document, find the quiet room for the consultation.
Okay, so barrier spotted, adjustment booked. Step 3 is the actual interaction.
Exactly. Step 3. Explain clearly with aids. Use things like teach back, make sure they really understand, because consent is only valid if it's properly informed.
Now, you said this also covers our active duties, not just patient adjustments. So step 4 feels critical.
It is. Step 4, challenge or escalate discrimination. This has to be a zero-tolerance approach. You see it, you hear about it, you act, you support the person affected, and you escalate it through policy.
And the final step, tying it all together and protecting everyone for the future.
Step 5, record and review. Document the needs, the actions, and the follow-up plan. This is what ensures that accessible care continues.
Okay, that's a brilliant sequence. To help lock it in, let's talk about the mnemonics from the source material. These are great memory hooks.
Let's start with the big one, the overall framework.
Yeah.
The include mnemonic.
Include E. Okay, I like that. So I is for.
Identify needs.
N, necessary adjustments.
Yep. C is for clear communication.
Okay.
Lift concerns or escalate.
Update the plan. Document.
And E.
Evaluate. It takes you through the whole professional journey.
That's really good. And what about for communication specifically? You said that's a huge scoring point.
For that, we have the AIS-5. It's basically shorthand for the legal duties under the Accessible Information Standard.
The AIS-5.
Sounds clinical.
It is, but it's gold. It's a simple process. Ask about their needs, record them, flag them so all staff can see, meet the needs with adjustments, and review them regularly.
If you follow AIS-5, you're meeting your legal duty.
You are. It's that simple.
Okay, let's apply this. The SJT uses just a few common patterns. If you spot the pattern, you can unlock the answer.
Let's start with the most high-pressure one, unmet communication needs.
Right. Pattern 1, the deaf patient, no BSL interpreter, non-urgent case, what's being tested, and what's the single best action.
It's testing your duty under the AIS and your understanding of valid consent. The best action is to postpone. You arrange a qualified interpreter for the earliest safe slot, give them written info, safety net, and document it all.
But hold on, let me challenge that. I'm running an hour late, the patient's taken a day off work, there are hospital targets. Why can't I just write things down, get them to sign something? It feels like delaying care by weeks is worse.
And that is the classic pressure point the SJT uses. But the reasoning is absolute. A delay for safety is always, always better than proceeding unsafely.
Why?
Because if you go ahead without a proper interpreter, you risk misdiagnosis, you risk them not understanding the risks of the procedure, and you completely invalidate their consent. If anything went wrong, you'd be liable. The duty to adjust comes first.
Delay for safety. Always. That's a clear line.
Exactly. Okay, pattern 2. This one's about staff behavior.
Pattern 2. Alleged discrimination by staff. So a patient reports that a colleague made a racist remark.
Right. This is testing your GMC duty to tackle discrimination. The best action is immediate. You listen, you apologize for the impact it had, you support the patient, document the facts, and escalate it according to trust policy.
You never try to investigate it yourself.
Never. Now, what about a trickier version? You witness a senior colleague making a microaggression towards a junior. Does the power dynamic change things?
That's a great question.
The principle of zero tolerance doesn't change, but your action has to be safe. If you can challenge them respectfully then and there, you do. If you can't, if that power dynamic makes it unsafe, your duty shifts.
To what?
You support the junior colleague, and you escalate it higher up to your clinical lead, to HR, and you document it. Ignoring it because of rank is a huge failure of professionalism.
Intervene safely, but always intervene.
Got it.
Okay, next. Pattern 3. Use of family to interpret. This one comes up all the time.
It tests consent, confidentiality, and accuracy. The best action is simple. Avoid it. Immediately. Especially children. You explain the risks to the patient.
But what if an adult patient insists?
If they have capacity and they insist, you have to get their specific informed consent for that choice. Document why you're going against guidelines and keep the conversation very limited. But the default is always no.
Right. And the last one, pattern 4, blanket policies, like a rule that says all appointments are 10 minutes.
This tests if you understand that reasonable adjustments are a legal requirement that trumps internal policy. The best action is to tailor the care to the individual. You have to challenge that blanket policy and find a way to make the adjustment.
Because otherwise it could be unlawful discrimination.
Exactly.
This leads us perfectly into the trap answers, the options that look pragmatic but are professionally just wrong.
Let's run through them. Trap 1. Use the patient's child to interpret.
Why is it so bad?
It's a triple failure. It breaches the AIS, it's unsafe because of inaccuracy, and it invalidates consent due to pressure and confidentiality issues. It's just a complete no-go.
Okay, trap 2. Ignore a discrimination complaint unless there's a witness.
This fails your core duty to support the person and tackle discrimination. You have to document and escalate the allegation. It doesn't matter if you saw it or not.
What about trap 3? First come, first served is the fairest way to do things.
The classic equality versus equity mistake. This ignores all the structural barriers that might stop someone getting to the front of the queue in the first place. A fair system actually mitigates those barriers.
It can lead to the most vulnerable getting the worst access.
Precisely. Next trap. Trap 4. Tell the patient the remark was just a joke.
I could feel how badly this would score.
It's terrible. You're dismissing their experience, breaking trust, and failing your duty to challenge the behavior. You focus on the impact, not the intent. Always.
And finally, trap 5. Refuse care because they didn't tell us they needed an interpreter.
Your duty of care means you have to find a safe solution, even if there have been admin issues. Refusing care is unethical and potentially discriminatory. You find a safe path to access, even if that means a delay.
This is all about making the right call under pressure. Let's do a quick rapid-fire drill to really cement these actions.
Okay, let's turn theory into instinct.
You see a colleague make a microaggression to another staff member in handover?
Stop the behavior. Support the affected person. Record and escalate it formally.
You're allocating services, and notice one group has lower access due to language barriers.
You check for the specific barriers, you mitigate them with targeted adjustments, and you document your rationale, keeping clinical needs central.
A patient needs all their letters in large print.
Document that AIS need immediately, flag it clearly in their record, and put a reminder in to review it.
Non-urgent appointment, no BSL interpreter, but the patient is writing notes, insisting they want to continue right now.
You still postpone? You explain your professional duty requires a qualified interpreter for safety and consent. You rebook for the earliest safe slot and provide any simple safety netting info in writing. See? That speed run just shows that timely, safe action is always the highest scoring response.
Perfect. Let's bring this all home. What are the 3 most critical takeaways from this entire deep dive?
Okay, number 1, reasonable adjustments are a legal duty. You always have to prioritize removing barriers first. Use that AIS-5 framework.
Takeaway number 2.
Use qualified professional interpreters for safe communication and consent. Never, ever rely on family or children unless it is a documented, life-threatening emergency.
And the 3rd and final key takeaway.
Uphold zero tolerance for discrimination. Period. It doesn't matter who it is. You challenge the behavior, you support the person affected, and you escalate and record it through official policy.
This deep dive has really given a clear framework for making these decisions. The idea that the best professionalism isn't just following rules, but actively adapting to needs. I think you put it as think barrier first.
That's the mindset shift. And, while we focused a lot on patients today, remember this GMC duty to treat people fairly and tackle discrimination? It applies equally to your colleagues.
So the principles are the same in the team room as they are in the consultation room.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a final provocative thought.
Go on.
You know the action sequence now. Stop, support, escalate. How would you confidently execute that sequence if the discrimination you just witnessed was coming from your supervising consultant aimed at a junior doctor?
A really important question to reflect on.
And for more of these detailed SJT frameworks and practice questions built around these core principles, we'd recommend you check out passthemsra.com.
We really hope this deep dive into equality, diversity, and inclusion has given you the clarity and the framework you need to score highly and, much more importantly, to practice safely every single day.